There's a moment in every life when you realize you've been living inside a beautiful prison. The walls are soft, the temperature is perfect, and everything you need is within arm's reach. Yet something deep within your soul screams that this isn't where you're meant to be. Carl Jung once observed that the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. But what he didn't say is that comfort makes that terror seem unnecessary. Comfort whispers lies that sound like wisdom, promising that you can stay small forever. Picture yourself as a seed buried in the earth. The soil is dark, protective, familiar. It would be so easy to remain there, safe from the harsh winds and unpredictable storms above. But seeds aren't meant to stay buried. They're meant to break through the darkness and reach towards something greater than themselves. Your comfort zone is that fertile soil. It nourishes you just enough to survive, but not enough to truly live. And somewhere in the depths of your being, you know this truth with a clarity that both inspires and terrifies you. Jung understood that human beings are not static creatures. We are dynamic, ever-evolving expressions of possibility. Yet comfort has a peculiar way of making us forget our own capacity for transformation. It lulls us into believing that growth is optional, that we can pause our becoming indefinitely. Consider the butterfly before it emerges from its cocoon. There's a moment of struggle, of pushing against the very walls that once protected it. That struggle isn't punishment, it's preparation. The resistance strengthens the wings that will carry it to heights it never imagined while crawling along the ground. But what if the butterfly decided the cocoon was comfortable enough? What if it chose the familiar darkness over the uncertain light? Would remain forever something it was never meant to be, missing the very essence of its purpose. You are that butterfly. Right now, in this moment, you're choosing between the cocoon and the sky. And comfort is whispering that the cocoon is safer, easier, more predictable. But your soul knows better. Jung spoke of the shadow, that part of ourselves we prefer to keep hidden. But there's another shadow that's rarely discussed. The shadow of unrealized potential. It follows you everywhere, a constant reminder of who you could become if you weren't so attached to who you are. Every morning, you wake up to a choice. Will you feed your fears with the milk of comfort, or will you nourish your dreams with the courage to be uncomfortable? The decision seems small, almost insignificant. But it's in these seemingly minor moments that destinies are written. Think about the last time you felt truly alive. Not happy, not content, but alive. Chances are you were stretching beyond your known boundaries, reaching for something that scared you as much as it excited you. That's not coincidence. That's your authentic self, recognizing its natural habitat. The edge of growth, comfort, however, has a different agenda. It wants you to believe that peak experiences are accidents, that extraordinary moments are for other people. That settling is wisdom rather than surrender. It convinces you that dreaming is childish and that ambition is selfish. But Jung knew better. He understood that each person carries within them a unique pattern, a blueprint for who they're meant to become. He called this the self with a capital S, not the ego that seeks comfort, but the deeper essence that seeks expression, truth, fulfillment. Your self doesn't want comfort. It wants to be known, to be expressed, to leave a mark on this world that could only come from you. It wants to explore the territories of your soul that you've marked as too dangerous to enter. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a vast ocean. The waves are calling your name, inviting you to dive into depths unknown. Comfort builds a chair on the beach and suggests you simply watch others swim. It tells you that the water is too cold, too unpredictable, too vast for someone like you.
Close.
But the ocean doesn't call to everyone.
Close.
It calls specifically to you because it recognizes something in your spirit that needs to be awakened through immersion, through the risk of going under to discover what lies beneath the surface of your ordinary life. Every great story begins with someone leaving home. Not because home is bad, but because staying home would mean never discovering what they're truly capable of. Abraham left his father's house. Buddha left his palace. Christ left his carpentry. They heard the call of their deeper nature and chose uncertainty over security. Your comfort zone is your father's house, your palace, your workshop. It's not evil, but it's not everything. And somewhere in your bones, you feel the restlessness of a soul that knows it has places to go, people to become, contributions to make. Jung observed that life has two halves. In the first half, we build our external world, career, relationships, identity. But in the second half, we must discover our internal world, our deeper purpose, our unique contribution to the grand tapestry of existence. Many people never make this transition. They remain forever building and rebuilding the external, never venturing inward to discover the treasures that wait in the depths of their being. Comfort promises that the external building is enough, that seeking more is greedy or unrealistic. But you weren't born to be realistic, full. You were born to be real. And there's a profound difference between these two ways of being. Realistic accepts what is. Real creates what could be. Consider the artist who never paints because they might fail. The entrepreneur who never starts because they might lose money. The lover who never speaks because they might be rejected. They've chosen the comfort of certainty over the possibility of magic. Yet failure, loss, and rejection are not the opposites of success, gain, and acceptance. They're the raw materials from which authentic achievement is built. They're the compost that enriches the soil of your growth. Jung understood that individuation, becoming who you truly are, requires facing what you'd rather avoid. It demands that you befriend uncertainty, dance with discomfort, and trust in your ability to navigate uncharted territories. Your comfort zone has served you well. It's kept you safe, provided stability, offered predictable pleasures. But it was never meant to be your permanent residence. It was meant to be a launching pad, a place to gather strength before your next great adventure. Think of comfort as a warm coat in winter, essential for survival, but if you never take it off, you'll never feel the sunshine on your skin or the wind in your hair. You'll never discover what your body is capable of when it's free to move, to stretch, to explore its full range of motion. Right now, as you listen to these words, something inside you is stirring. It's the part of you that has been waiting patiently for permission to dream again, to want more than you have, to become more than you are. That stirring is not your enemy, it's your truest friend. But comfort will try to quiet that stirring. It will remind you of your responsibilities, your limitations, your past failures. It will paint pictures of all the ways you could be hurt, disappointed, or embarrassed. It will make risk seem foolish and contentment seem wise. Listen carefully. Contentment and complacency are not the same thing. True contentment comes from knowing you've lived fully, risked deeply, loved completely. Complacency comes from choosing safety over truth, security over growth, the known over the magnificent unknown. Jung believed that every person has a calling, a unique contribution that only they can make. But this calling rarely arrives as a gentle whisper. It usually shows up as dissatisfaction with the status quo, as a nagging sense that there must be more to life than what you're currently experiencing. That dissatisfaction isn't depression, it's awakening. Your soul is trying to get your attention, to remind you that you signed up for an adventure, not a sleepwalk through existence. Imagine if trees decided that growing was too risky, that staying small was more sensible. What would happen to the forest? What would happen to the creatures that depend on their strength and shelter? What would happen to the very oxygen we breathe? You are part of an intricate ecosystem of human potential. When you choose comfort over growth, you're not just limiting yourself. You're depriving the world of your unique gifts, your distinct perspective, your irreplaceable contribution to the ongoing story of human evolution. The people who need what you have to offer are waiting. They're struggling with problems that your unique combination of experience, insight, and passion could help solve. but they'll never meet the person you could become if you remain forever the person you are. Jung spoke of synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that seem to guide us toward our destiny. These synchronicities rarely occur in the comfort zone. They happen at the edges, in the spaces between the known and unknown, when we're brave enough to step into uncertainty with faith rather than fear. Your discomfort with your current situation isn't a problem to be solved. It's a compass pointing toward your next evolution. It's your inner guidance system saying, this way lies growth. This way lies the person you're meant to become. But growth requires nutrients, and the primary nutrient is challenge. Just as muscles need resistance to become stronger, your character needs obstacles to become more resilient, more creative, more authentically powerful. Comfort offers you empty calories, pleasant sensations that provide temporary satisfaction, but no real nourishment for your developing soul. Challenge offers you protein for the spirit, the raw materials from which wisdom, strength, and genuine confidence are built. Consider the river that flows always toward the ocean. It doesn't stop at the first beautiful meadow it encounters, even though staying there would be comfortable. It knows that its purpose is larger than any single location, no matter how pleasant that location might be. You are that river. Your comfort zone is a beautiful meadow, but it's not your final destination. You're meant to flow, to move, to carry life and energy to places that desperately need what you uniquely provide. Every hero's journey begins with a call to adventure. That call always comes disguised as inconvenience, discomfort, or disruption. That call never says, "Come along, it will be easy." It says, "Come along, it will be worth it." Right now, life is calling you to your next adventure. You might not see it clearly yet, but you feel it in the restlessness that visits you in quiet moments, in the dreams that won't leave you alone, in the voice that whispers, "There has to be more than this." That voice is not your enemy. It's not a sign of ingratitude or unrealistic expectations. It's the voice of your deepest wisdom, your truest self, your most authentic nature calling you home to who you really are. Jung understood that we don't find ourselves by looking inward exclusively. We find ourselves by engaging courageously with the world, by testing our assumptions, by discovering what we're made of when we're no longer protected by the familiar walls of our comfort zone. Your greatest achievements won't come from your strengths. They'll come from your willingness to grow beyond your current limitations. They'll come from your courage to be a beginner again, to not know, to fumble and fail and get back up stronger than before. Comfort promises you that you can avoid failure by avoiding risk, but it's lying. The biggest failure is the failure to try, to grow, to become the person your soul knows you can be. That kind of failure doesn't announce itself with dramatic moments of defeat. It whispers itself through years of quiet regret. Think about the person you admire most. What did they risk to become who they are? What did they sacrifice for their growth? What comfort did they give up to claim their authentic power? Their stories aren't inspiring because they were easy. They're inspiring because they were necessary. Your story is still being written. This moment, right now, is a blank page waiting for your next chapter. Will it be more of the same, or will it be the beginning of something that makes your heart race with possibility? Jung believed that midlife wasn't a crisis, but an awakening, a realization that the time for living safely is over. That the soul demands expression, that comfort is no longer enough to satisfy the deepest parts of who you are. But you don't have to wait for midlife. You don't have to wait for crisis. You can choose awakening now, in this moment, with this breath, with this decision to honor the call of your becoming rather than the comfort of your being. The caterpillar doesn't know it will become a butterfly. It only knows that something inside it is changing, that the old way of being no longer fits, that it must trust a process it doesn't understand to become something it can't yet imagine. You are in your own process of metamorphosis. The discomfort you feel isn't a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that something is ready to be born through you, as you, from the depths of your truest nature. What would you attempt if you knew you couldn't fail? Not because failure is impossible, but because you finally understood that failure is just another word for learning, for growing, for becoming stronger and wiser and more authentically yourself. The door to your next life is standing open. You've been walking past it every day, telling yourself you're not ready, it's not the right time, you need more preparation, more security, more certainty. But doors don't wait forever. Opportunities have their own timing, their own seasons. Your comfort zone was never meant to be your forever home. It was meant to be your training ground, your preparation space, your launching pad for the extraordinary adventure of becoming who you truly are. Right now, something inside you is ready to break free. You can feel it stirring, stretching, preparing to emerge from the cocoon of your current limitations. That stirring is not your discomfort. That stirring is your destiny calling your name. Will you answer? Will you choose the uncertain path of growth over the predictable path of safety? Will you trust that who you're becoming is more important than who you've been? The choice is yours, and it's yours right now. Not tomorrow, not when you feel more ready, not when the circumstances are perfect. The perfect moment is this moment, when your soul is awake and your heart is open and your spirit remembers what it came here to do. If this message touched you, if something stirred in your depths while listening to these words, comment, "I choose my growth." Let those words be your declaration, your commitment, your first step into the magnificent uncertainty of becoming who you were always meant to be.